Hello, everyone. I'm Steve.
I'm Scott.
Together, we are Backyard Musings, broadcasting live from Apple Valley. We are the Science and Technology Channel. Very interesting. We said we'd talk about Africa yesterday, and we're going to talk about Africa today. Africa has been gradually splitting into two continents, slowly creating what will be a new ocean in between. While we first learned about this 2 decades ago, scientists have now warned that the continent will split much faster than initially anticipated. Would you like to know more? Fill this slide up here so you can. So the slide on the left, the picture on the left is that rift right in the land. Big, huge. It's getting bigger. And eventually that'll fill with water. Poof, it'll just fill with water. And then the one on the right is an artist's rendition. You can see how it's breaking off near the Horn of Djibouti and coming right down to Johannesburg, J-Town.
Yeah.
And it's pushing into Madagascar. It might be called Madagascar, the new continent or whatever it is.
Looking at that slide, it's fascinating because, I don't consider that to be an ocean. It almost looks like an oversized river or a channel.
Salt. It's salt.
Oh, no, I get it.
And eventually it'll get bigger and bigger over time.
So,
and look at the Red Sea. Red Sea completely separates from the Middle East.
Yeah.
So Africa completely separates.
Big changes going on over there.
Yeah.
So in 2005, a 35-mile-long fissure took place in Ethiopia's desert known as the East African Rift. It marked the start of a long process in which the African plate is splitting into two tectonic plates, the Somali plate and the Nubian plate. The crack resides on the borders of the boundaries of the African, Arabian, and Somali tectonic plates. And for the past 300 million years...
30 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? 300?
Oh, well. a few hundred million.
Between 30 and 300 million. No, 300 million years, the Arabian plate has now been slowly moving away from the African continent. This exact tectonic shift has been seen before, as it is with what helped create both the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden between the two connected landmasses. Additionally, the Somali plate is also moving away from the African plate, peeling its way through the East African Rift Valley. Geologists have noted that this complex tectonic process will make room for a totally new body of water millions of years from now. So
yeah, it's going to take some time for that to widen.
Yeah, don't plan on seeing this in our lifetime or anybody that you even think about. No,
it is fascinating.
It is. This is amazing.
Earth is still moving around.
Yeah.
It was previously thought that the process would take tens of millions of years, but now with the continent dividing at a rate of half an inch per year, these estimations have sped up. Professor Ken McDonald of the University of California, has revealed that he believes a new ocean will likely happen in 1 to 5 million years' time. Speaking to Mail Online, he said, quote, "In the human life scale, you won't be seeing many changes. You'll be feeling earthquakes. You'll be seeing volcanoes erupt, but you won't see the ocean intrude in our lifetimes," end quote.
Well, at least according to the scientists, right?
Yeah, according to the scientists.
If
on its regular path.
Yeah, if a higher power wants to take over and say enough's enough, then yeah. So Professor McDonald went on to explain what happens, or what might happen is that the waters of the Indian Ocean could come in and flood what is now the East African Rift Valley. He told the publication, quote, "There's slippage and faults creating earthquake activity along with visible signs of active volcanoes. In recent years, the main breakthroughs have been figuring out exactly where the branches of this rift system go." So,
while Alexandra Doughton, an ex-NASA and Space Force consultant, took to Instagram to explain how Eastern Africa will be its own continent in millions of years' time. The line along the border is the African Great Lakes. These are some of the largest lakes on Earth. She said this is 25% of all the unfrozen surface fresh water on the planet, and they already hold about 10% of the Earth's fish species. The lakes formed because Eastern Africa is separating from the rest of the continent.
Okay. So that's
Somali. Yeah, that Somali plate is continuing to move even further east, creating a giant rift valley right here. It keeps going.
Quote again, "Eventually, Eastern Africa is going to become its new continent separated from the rest of Africa by a new ocean. So
Yeah, so pretty interesting stuff. That little breakaway.
yeah,
I mean, we're seeing it.
right. Well, I remember somebody talking to me one time about how they thought that maybe at one point South America and Africa were connected. You ever?
Long time ago.
Yeah. Well,
The whole Pangea thing was
more
that
than
it was
3
all,
million years ago.
and
So
then it separated.
right, but I mean, if you look at the profiles of the western side
Yeah, it
of
looks
Africa
like
and eastern side of South America,
Looks like it could have been there.
yeah, it could have been there, and they kind of did like I guess it was probably like a computer generated thing where the continents separated. And again, we know we've talked about that too biblically, right? There was water and then there was land.
Yeah.
So,
What's interesting
a lot of
about this
changes.
rift is we're getting to see it. Normally, this happens on the ocean floor, and we don't get to see it. And here we're seeing it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Crazy
right.
though, if you're
Yeah.
living on that fault line or that that rift. I mean,
Now you got to go around it. Yeah.
Yeah, get to be building some bridges. So
Well, those bridges they'll fall in.
they need to be
eventually.
flexible.
So,
Flexible.
We had a listener, one of the fans, tell us wanted to hear more about neutrino generators, and I did the research yesterday. It's really fascinating. We're going to do a segment on neutrino generators in a couple days. It takes cosmic radiation and stores that into energy.
One more thing I knew absolutely nothing about, so it'll be fascinating to me too.
Yeah, I mean we're catching this stuff that mainstream doesn't see, and I guess it's what you guys like.
Yeah.
So join us tomorrow morning. We've got more content for you.
Yeah, thanks for that input. So
Yep.
Take care, everyone.